Hi students, we discuss about formation of urine. Formation of urine. The formation of urine is formed in the nephrons of the kidney. Nephrons of the kidney. The formation of urine involves in three main processes or steps. First step or first process is glomerular filtration. Number two, selective reabsorption. And third process is tubular secretion. So the formation of urine involves in three main processes or steps: glomerular filtration, selective reabsorption, and tubular secretion. We already completed glomerular filtration in previous class. Glomerular filtration means the blood filter from glomerulus into lumen of the Bowman's capsule through filtrate membrane is called glomerular filtration. So blood filter from glomerulus into lumen of the Bowman's capsule. So the filtrate in the lumen of the Bowman's capsule is called primary urine or renal fluid or ultrafiltrate or glomerular filtrate. The primary urine contains almost all the constituents of blood plasma and also nitrogenous waste. So the primary urine contains essential substances also. Now the primary urine travel through the different parts of the nephron and forms high concentrated urine. Here the primary urine is hypotonic to cortical fluid. So this is glomerular filtration. Next, selective reabsorption and tubular secretion. Here, now first we discuss about glomerular filtration rate. Glomerular filtration rate. What is glomerular filtration rate? The amount of filtrate formed by both the kidneys formed by both the kidneys per minute is called glomerular filtration rate. So the amount of filtrate formed by both the kidneys per minute is called glomerular filtration rate. So the amount of filtrate or primary urine. Primary urine formed by both the kidneys per minute is called glomerular filtration rate. So the lumen of the Bowman's capsule contains primary urine. It is formed from blood of glomerulus. So the amount of filtrate or primary urine formed by both the kidneys per minute is called glomerular filtration rate. The GFR or GFR means glomerular filtration rate. The GFR in a healthy human being is 125 ml per minute. So the glomerular filtration rate in a healthy human being is 125 ml per minute. So both the kidneys in a healthy person forms 125 ml per minute. So per minute 125 ml of filtrate or primary urine is formed in the both the kidneys. So a healthy human being forms 180 liters of primary urine per day or 24 hours. So per minute 125 ml of primary urine is formed in both the kidneys in a healthy person. So per day or in 24 hours a healthy human being, both the kidneys of a healthy human being forms 180 liters of primary urine or filtrate. So per day large amount of primary urine is formed in both the kidneys. But a healthy human being can excrete 1 to 1.5 liters of urine per day. A healthy human being can excrete 1 to 1.5 liters of urine, but both the kidneys forms 180 liters of primary urine per day. But per day a healthy human being can excrete only 1 to 1.5 liters of urine. So large amount of urine is formed in both the kidneys, but a little amount of urine is excreted. So the remaining, so large amount of primary urine or contents of primary urine is reabsorbed by different parts of nephron. The primary urine contains essential substances. So the essential substances are nutrients, water, salts, etc. These essential substances are reabsorbed by different parts of nephron. So, a little amount of highly concentrated urine is discharged. So, 99% of 99% of contents of primary urine or primary urine is reabsorbed by different parts of the nephron, while the primary urine passes through the different parts of nephron. So only 1% of primary urine is discharged out. Discharged out. Next, the wall of the nephron lined by epithelial tissue. Epithelial tissue. The epithelial cells of wall of the nephron reabsorb the essential substances either by active transport or passive transport. So while the primary urine passes through the when the primary urine passes through the different parts of nephron, the epithelial cells of the wall of nephron reabsorb the essential substances either by active transport or passive transport. What are active and passive transports? Active transports means the biochemical substances which transport from the area of low concentration to the area of high concentration is called active transport. So the biochemical substances which transport from the area of low concentration to the area of high concentration is called active transport. The active transport requires energy for transportation of low concentration to high concentration. So active transport requires energy. Next, passive transport. What is passive transport? The biochemical substances which transport from the area of high concentration to area of low concentration is called passive transport. The energy does not require for passive transport. So, the epithelial tissue of different parts of nephron reabsorb the essential substances either by active transport or passive transport. Next, about 85% of substances reabsorb without regulation. Without regulation, the remaining substances reabsorb with regulation. So 85% of substances of primary urine reabsorb into blood without regulation. The remaining substances absorbed from primary urine into blood with regulation. Here, next, based on necessity of absorption, based on the necessity of absorption, the substances of primary urine divides into three types. Namely, high threshold substances, low threshold substances, A threshold substances. So, based on the necessity of substances, the substances are divided into three types. So, based on necessity of reabsorption, the substances of primary urine divides into high threshold substances, low threshold substances, and A threshold substances. What are high threshold substances? The essential substances which efficiently reabsorb from primary urine into blood are called high threshold substances. So the essential substances which efficiently reabsorbed from primary urine into blood through wall of the nephron are called high threshold substances. Example, nutrients, amino acids, salts, etc. Nutrients, amino acids, salts, etc. So these are high threshold substances. Next, low threshold substances. What are low threshold substances? The substances which reabsorb in little amount from primary urine into blood through wall of the nephron are called low threshold substances. Low threshold substances. Example, urine, uric acid. So uric acids are the low threshold substances. Next, A threshold. Substances. What are low threshold? What are A threshold substances? The substances which does not reabsorb from primary urine into blood are called A threshold substances. Mostly A threshold substances are true excretory or nitrogenous waste. For example, creatinine. Creatinine is the A threshold substances. Next, during formation of urine, in the nephron, the cells in the wall of nephron secretes some substances into primary urine, such as hydrogen, NH, the ammonium, next potassium, hydrogen, etc. So during formation of concentrated urine in the nephron, the cells of the nephron secretes some substances into primary urine. So some of the essential substances are reabsorbed from primary urine into blood. Some of the substances are secretes into primary urine from the cells of nephron. The secreted substances are hydrogen ions, NH3, next potassium, NH4, etc. These are secretes into primary urine. The process of secretion play an important role in the formation of urine. In the formation of concentrated urine in the nephron, and also maintain ionic and acid base balance in the body fluids. So some of the contents or substances of primary urine reabsorbed into blood, and some of the substances secretes into primary urine. The secretion of the substances from cells into primary urine play an important role in the formation of concentrated urine, and also helps in ionic and acid base balance. So now we discuss the selective reabsorption and tubular secretion in different parts of the nephron. So large amount of urine is formed in the lumen of the Bowman's capsule. It contains essential substances like nutrients, water, salts, etc., and also nitrogenous waste. Per day, both the kidneys of a person forms 180 liters of primary urine. But we, a healthy human being can excrete only 1 to 1.5 liters of urine per day. So the large amount of contents of primary urine is reabsorbed into blood while the primary urine travel through the different parts of the nephron. The reabsorption process occurs from primary urine of the nephron into blood. Next, some of the substances are secretes into primary urine from the cells of wall of the nephron, like hydrogen, ammonium, potassium, hydrogen, NS4 ions, etc. This secretion, the secretions of these substances play an important role in the formation of concentrated urine and also helps in maintenance of ionic and acid base balance. So now we discuss about the selective reabsorption and tubular secretions in the different parts of the nephron. So now the primary urine of the lumen of the Bowman's capsule enter into first part of the renal tubule. Here first part of the renal tubule is called proximal convoluted tubule. The most of the substances of the primary urine reabsorbed into blood in the PCT. The PCT is the largest part of the renal tubule, and also the wall of PCT is lined by cuboidal epithelium with microvilli. So, the wall of the PCT has brush-bordered epithelial tissue. The microvilli or brush-bordered epithelium, cuboidal epithelium, increases absorptive surface area. So most of the contents are reabsorbed from primary urine into blood through the wall of PCT or proximal convoluted tubule. So now the primary urine enter into PCT from lumen of the Bowman's capsule. Here the large amount of water, sodium, chloride, nutrients, bicarbonate ions are reabsorbed from primary urine into cortical fluid. So the PCT is located or situated in the cortex of the kidney. Outside of the PCT, a connective tissue is present. Between the cells of connective tissue, some spaces are present. These are called interstitial spaces. The interstitial spaces fill with interstitial fluid called cortical fluid, cortical interstitial fluid. So the water, large amount of water, sodium, chloride, nutrients, bicarbonate ions are reabsorbed from primary urine into cortical interstitial fluid through brush bordered epithelial tissue of the wall of PCT, proximal convoluted tubule. Here water reabsorbed by osmosis. By osmosis. Osmosis means the molecules travel from low concentration to high concentration is called osmosis. So water is reabsorbed by osmosis. Next, sodium ions are reabsorbed by active transport. Active transport means the biomolecules or biochemicals transport from the area of low concentration to the area of high concentration. So sodium ions transport by active transport. Next, chloride ions are transport by passive transport. Passive transport means the biochemical substances which transport from the area of high concentrate to low concentrate. From the area of low concentrate is called passive transport. So the chloride ions transport by passive transport. Next, nutrients like glucose, amino acids, etc. reabsorbed by active transport. Next, bicarbonate ions are also reabsorbed from primary urine into cortical fluid through the wall of PCT. Next, some of the ions secretes into primary urine of PCT from cortical fluid. Hydrogen ions and ammonium secretes into primary urine of the PCT. So some of the majority of contents of primary urine is reabsorbed into cortical fluid. From there, these are entered into blood stream. Next, hydrogen, ammonium are secretes into primary urine from cortical fluid. Next, after absorption, this is the absorption and secretion in proximal convoluted tubule. Next, absorption and secretions in the Henle's loop. So Henle's loop is the hairpin-like structure in the nephron. It is located behind the proximal convoluted tubule. Next, the Henle's loop is located in the medulla of the kidney. Medulla of the kidney. Next, Henle's loop possesses two limbs. First limb is descending limb. This is descending limb. Next, second limb is ascending limb. So, the Henle's loop possesses descending limb and ascending limb. The descending limb, the PCT continues to form descending limb of loop of Henle. It moves deep of the medulla. Next, the descending limb continues to form ascending limb of loop of Henle. The ascending limb of loop of Henle moves to cortex. Next, after absorption In the PCT, the primary urine enter into descending limb of loop of Henle. Descending limb of loop of Henle. Here, the descending limb of loop of Henle is permeable to water, and impermeable to ions. So the wall of the descending limb of loop of Henle permeable to water, it impermeable to ions. So the wall of the descending limb reabsorb the water from primary urine into medullary interstitial fluid. The ions does not reabsorb through the wall of descending limb of loop of Henle due to it is impermeable to ions. So the wall of the descending limb of loop of Henle reabsorb the water continuously. The ions or salts does not reabsorb. The salts or ions present in the primary urine. Only water is reabsorbed. When the water is reabsorbed, the concentration of primary urine is increased from the proximal part of the descending limb to distal part of the descending limb. So the concentration of primary urine is increased, maximum increase at the last end, at the end of the descending limb of Henle. Now the concentration of primary urine in the descending limb of loop of Henle is isotonic to medullary interstitial fluid. So the primary urine in the lumen of the Bowman's capsule is isotonic to cortical fluid. So concentration of primary urine is low than cortical fluid in the Bowman's capsule. Now the primary urine in the descending limb of loop of Henle is isotonic to medullary interstitial fluid. So the concentration of primary urine is increased at the end of descending limb of loop of Henle due to loss of water from primary urine into medullary interstitial fluid. Now the isotonic now the concentrated primary urine enter into ascending limb of loop of Henle. Here in the descending limb of loop of Henle, water is reabsorbed by osmosis. This process is called obligatory water reabsorption. So water is absorbed by osmosis is called obligatory water reabsorption. So the concentrated urine enter into ascending limb of loop of Henle. The ascending limb of loop of Henle has two portions. The proximal part of the ascending limb is thin. Next, distal part of the ascending limb of loop of Henle is thick, very thick. The thin and thick-walled ascending limb of loop of Henle is impermeable to water but permeable to salts or ions. So the ascending limb of loop of Henle is permeable to salts and impermeable to water. So water does not reabsorb in the ascending limb of loop of Henle. Only salts are reabsorbed from primary urine into medullary interstitial fluid. Here the sodium chloride reabsorbed from primary urine of ascending thick-walled ascending limb of loop of Henle into medullary interstitial fluid by passive transport. So the thin-walled ascending limb of loop of Henle reabsorb sodium chloride from primary urine into medullary interstitial fluid by passive transport. Next, the sodium chloride reabsorbed from primary urine of thick-walled ascending limb of loop of Henle into medullary interstitial fluid by active process. So the proximal part of the ascending limb reabsorb the sodium chloride from primary urine into medullary interstitial fluid by passive process. Next, the thick-walled ascending limb of loop of Henle reabsorb the sodium chloride from primary urine into medullary interstitial fluid by active process. So, in the ascending limb, water does not reabsorb. Salts, only sodium chloride or salts are reabsorbed. Now, when the salts are the primary urine of ascending limb loses only salts, but it does not lose water. So the concentration of primary urine is decreased from the proximal part of the ascending limb to distal part of the ascending limb. Next, after absorption, next a little amount of urea is secretes into primary urine of ascending limb of loop of Henle from medullary interstitial fluid. So a little amount of urea secretes into primary urine of ascending limb of loop of Henle from medullary interstitial fluid. So sodium chloride is reabsorbed from primary urine into medullary interstitial fluid and urea is secretes into primary urine from medullary interstitial fluid. This is the absorption and secretions in the ascending limb of loop of Henle. Next, the concentration is decreased in the descending limb from proximal part to distal part due to loss of salts. Next, the primary urine enter into proximal distal convoluted tubule. The wall of the distal convoluted tubule lined by cuboidal epithelium, but microvilli are absent. A little amount of substances are reabsorbed through distal convoluted tubule. So reabsorption in the DCT is minimum. First we discuss reabsorption in the distal convoluted tubule. The wall of the DCT reabsorb sodium ions, water, sodium chloride and bicarbonates from primary urine into cortical interstitial fluid. From there they enter into blood stream. Here the sodium and water absorbed conditional or facultative reabsorption. So absorption of sodium and water from DCT into cortical interstitial fluid is conditional or facultative reabsorption. What is conditional or facultative reabsorption? The reabsorption of substances through principal cells is called